Hey, hello friends, and welcome to another video of the series. In this video, we are talking about micro SD card, and if in case you guys are already aware ki what this SD means, that means what is the abbreviation of this SD, please do comment in the comment section. I would like to see how many of you were already knowing what this SD stands for. So before we go ahead with the video, let me show you what we are making in this video series. So we are making this wonderful IoT board where we have the 4G LTE modem, we have the SD microcontroller as a host MCU, then we have ESP for the BLE and Wi-Fi. And if you see over here, we have the SD card which would be interfaced based on this pins. When you put the jumpers in, it will get connected to this, and basically you can log the data from the ESP32. And in case you want to log directly from the ST microcontroller, right, then you can short these lines. So we'll be going through how this interface has been done, but in this video will be talking on how to interface any micro SD card with your hardware. Now, though it looks simple, micro SD card comes with different modes, and we'll be talking about which mode we'll be using and what as a bare minimum circuitry for a SD card to function with controllers like ESP, ST micro, or any other MCU. So Altium is one of the most popular PCB design software. When it comes to Altium, you have few features which is not available in any other software, that is like Altium 365. In case of Altium 365, you can create a project, connect with your team across. So it takes from the requirement to the parts library, BOM management, schematic, board design, manufacturing portal. So if you see, right, you can have a collaboration done across all the teams, and the whole requirement supply chain, library management, ECAD connectivity, co-design integration when you are working with multiple teams, multiple designers, and for the manufacturing. Even if you are a newbie, I would suggest to get a career start with Altium. I have provided a link in the description. You can check that link for the free trial. Let's get ahead with the video. So SD stands for secure digital, and this refers to the flash memory format used in various devices like smartphone, cameras, and computer. So I'm not sure how many of guys you were knowing already what SD means. I'll go through the comments. I'll give a thumbs up to the people who have answered it correctly. So let's go to the next slide. So if you talk about embedded hardware, right, most of the loggers you will see comes with a SD card option. Okay, so here you can see we have the ESP32 having an interface for the micro SD card. Then here you have an NXP chipset that has a micro SD card interface. You have a standalone card reader board also, or a interface board that you can plug with Arduino or any other boards. And here you have this logic level shifter. So we'll be talking more about this, why this has been here in the next video. And also we have something from Adafruit, where you can see here it's a Raspberry Pi RP2040 chipset which is being interfaced with a micro SD card. So all these hardwares can be used to log details. And what we are making, right, you can imagine, in case let's say you want to make a tracker where you want to log the GPS data, or any vehicle sensor data, right? In this case, you will be able to use the external storage, which is the micro SD card, to log those data. So it is a reliable local storage. In case let's say the device goes offline, we are making a telematics unit where we have the 4G modem. Now imagine at some location the network is not good, right? In that case, you will lose that data. The data will not go to the server. In that uh, cases, what you can do, right, based on the network availability, if the network is poor, or you are not able to connect to server, you will basically log that data offline in the SD card. Also, SD card gives you a bigger size, okay, in terms of memory to store that data. So in terms of gigabyte, you are able to store that data. So if you are making a node where you are logging the lat long, so you can use a 2 GB SD card to log the data for almost like months. Okay, again it depends the throughput of the data, whether you are logging the data every second or in a minute. Okay, but data in terms of GB, right, it gives you a lot of I can say room to store data in. And in terms of network independence, so whenever you have a local storage, so you become a network independent, where you are not relying on the internet or the cloud service to be available. You will be able to log that data locally and retrieve that data whenever you want. You can remove this SD card, plug it to your system, and based on the formatting, whatever the software you have written, right? Maybe you can directly generate an Excel sheet or a CSV sheet, and you will be able to retrieve that data. Coming to how the microSD pinouts looks like, right? So microSD had 8 pins. Okay, so these are the 8 pins. Now based on the mode, so SD secure digital mode, if you are using, right? So this is how the pins are. So the first pin is data 2, the second pin is data 3, then the CMD, VDD, clock, VSS, data 0, data 1. When you are using this in a SPI mode, right, then the first one will be not connected to anything, the last one will be not connected to anything, and the second pin will be like a chip select, and the third pin would be a DI, which is MOSI. We will talk about this in the upcoming slide. Then the VDD is there for the power, then you have the serial clock, then you have the ground, then you have the miso. So we will talk in detail about this. And when it comes to the interfaces, right, so you will be able to see, look, this is one of the micro SD card slot which has an internal shouldering. That means if you see on your PCB, you need to have the footprints here where it will go and get shoulder, whereas if you see the other ones, let's say if you see this, right, so here you have the proper legs, okay, for the shouldering. So it depends what all so you will be having multiple options, but the pinouts are going to be the same. Okay, so you go through the part data sheet, understand, and you have to have the similar footprint, or the compatible footprint on your board. So here if you see, this and this looks more or less similar, where these legs are extended, whereas in case you are using something like this, so the legs are underneath this, that if you see it over here, right? So based on your selection, you can use, even there are variations where push is there. So the moment you insert the SD card, it will get locked. The second time if you press, it will pop out. Okay, so those sort of an options are also available. I think this is the one. So here you have the micro SD card socket push in, pull out. That means once you insert the micro SD card, it will go and lock. The second time if you put, it will come out. So you have this mechanism in place. Whereas you have some other options where basically you have a slider. Okay, so this you can pull it out, it opens, and then you can slide the micro SD card and then lock it in place. So based on the price and things, whatever your application looks like, if in case you want to put SD card at edge of the board so that you can take it out and put it back again, right? So you can go for something like this. And in case you are not able, you don't have accessibility, right, of taking and putting that thing out, right? Or maybe your SD card slot is at within the, or I can say, let's say this is your board and you have the SD card somewhere at the center. Okay, and there are other components around it, then maybe you can go with something like this, where this opens, right? So this bracket which you see, right, it opens till 90 degree, and you can just put the sim put the micro SD card and then lock it. So based on your use case, you can go and select these. Now let's go to the modes. So as I said, micro SD card, right, it has its own SD communication protocol, which is the secure digital card communication protocol, which is common in case of your mobile phones, cameras and all. But when you talk about embedded hardware, right, mostly we use SPI serial interface, which is very easy to implement, straightforward. Now let's see the difference between the native SD mode versus the SPI mode. When it comes to interface, here you have 4-bit SD bus, or I can say 1 bit is also possible. In case of SPI mode, you have the serial clock, then miso, mosi. And in case of speed, when you are using the native SD, the speed can go upwards of 25 MB per second or even more. You have to note that maybe most of the MCUs doesn't support this native SD mode. So before using this, you have to make sure the chipset or the main MCU which you are using, right, it supports. When it comes to SPI mode, almost all the MCUs supports this, and here the throughput or the data rate is lower. So it can go upwards of 5 MB per second, but usually it is under like 1 MB per second. When it comes to the pin requirement, if you see here, right under SD, you have these four data pins that is getting used. So data 0 to data 3, then you have VCC, ground, serial clock, and CMD. So almost like 6 plus pins are getting consumed, whereas in case of SPI flash you have just 4 pins. Okay, in terms of complexity, the complexity under SD mode is higher. The reason, it's nothing to do with the hardware design. It's more like the software part, where you need to implement the SD protocol stack drivers accordingly. When it comes to SPI mode, things are very straightforward, and you'd be able to see a lot of examples. Okay, when it comes to MCU support, as I said, native SD mode is supported by MCUs, where you have the SDIO, MMC peripherals on the MCU. So you have to check before using the SD mode. Whereas in case of SPI mode, any MCU with SPI, you will be able to interface a micro SD card. Now, when it is there in SD mode or the SDIO mode, right? So you can pause this and see the interfacing. Okay, so let's talk about how the schematic looks like. Okay, so you have the data 3, data 2, data 1, data 0 all being implemented. You have the serial clock, you have the SD CMD pin. Okay, or I can say the detect pin in some cases, which is here. Okay, when it comes to these zero point 0.1 microfarad, 2.2, 2.2, so these are basically the uh, decoupling capacitors. Okay, and these are used for filter power noise and help stabilize the supply to the SD card. One thing you need to note, SD card works on 3.3 volts. Okay, you cannot directly put 5 volts, it will blow off the SD card. So whenever you need to have this power, so whenever your VCC line, right, or the VDD line, when you are powering it on, okay, you have to make sure you are giving 3.3 and also have a proper decoupling, so that you have a stable supply to the SD card. Now, placement of this decoupling capacitors needs to be very close to the VCC or the VDD pin. Okay, when it comes to these resistors, as I talked, these are the pull-up resistors which are connected to command serial data lines, and it ensures that the proper line state before or during initialization of this SD. Okay, and these lines are not mandatory when it comes to SPI. SPI is a very straightforward. So in this video series, even we are not going to use the micro SD card in the SDIO mode. We are going to use that in the SPI mode. Let's go ahead with the SPI mode. So in case of SPI mode, you have just four wires, as we talked: MISO, MOSI, clock, serial clock, and chip select. Okay, when it comes to advantage, it is simple interface, easier firmware and bootloader integration. What is the drawback? As we saw, right, it has a slower data rate, but for our use case, where we are making an embedded hardware logging the data, I think 1 Mbps up to or 5 Mbps is more than enough. And there are few advanced features of SD card when it comes to different classes. So you would have seen a micro SD card with class 10 and extreme SD card series. So those advantage won't be there when you are using the SPI mode, and even in our hardware which we are making, we don't need those. Here you can see how the mapping of the pins are. As we talked, the first pin and the last pin is NC. Let me show you over here. So the first pin and the last pin is crossed, that means it is NC. Okay, and then your CS is chip select, MOSI is master out slave in, VDD is the positive supply, clock is serial clock. Okay, GND is ground, MISO is master in slave out, NC is not used. Now, in case you are not aware about SPI, what SPI communication is, I would request you to Google it. There are good resources available online where you can go and learn about SPI communication. In terms of implementation, if you see, so this is how the schematic of a SPI mode SD card looks like. So the first one is not used. The second one is the active low select signal from MCU. Okay, then you have this DI, which is data in, and MCU sends the data to SD card through this pin, which is the DI. DO is the SD card sends the data to MCU. Okay, so already like you can just Google and understand about MOSI, MISO. Okay, when it comes to clock, so this is basically where the MCU controls the signals, right, when to read and all. So the pin number 8, which is there, is usually left unconnected or used for CD card detect on some sockets. So usually when in case you are using for card detect, right, you need to pull this down. And whenever it is pulled down, whenever physically a SIM is there, this will logically level, it will go to 0. So if you see here, right, so card detect and shielding, so you have the CD1, CD2, and this is pulled low when a card is inserted and connected to the MCU GPIO if needed. And shielding is basically the housing of that whole socket, right? It is always grounded, and you have all these pins being connected, the shields being connected to ground. Here you need to have a decoupling capacitor at the VCC pin, which is like point 0.1, point 0.2, or 2.2 microfarad you can use. And it basically ensures you have a stable supply to the SD card. This already we talked, and this VCC value needs to be 3.3. And now, if in case you are using a 5-volt MCU, you need to have a logic level shifter, which we'll be talking in the next video, specifically on the logic level shifter. So there are other use cases also of this logic level shifter in our board. When it comes to series resistors, so we have not immuned these lines, MOSI, MISO, serial clock, and this by pulling it up. So it's not actually required. This is the bare minimum, I can say, the schematic that would be useful. And yeah, so pull up resistor is not required actually in our case, but you can implement it. And in case you are able to let's say you are having this a ringing or a high speed signal where your voltage is oscillating, right, at a higher throughput. In that case, you can provide immunity to those lines by providing a pull up resistors. Okay, so this is the slide, which if you see, this has been taken, and let me show you the schematic first. Okay, so this is what has been taken from Arduino Uno R3. So this is basically a shield. Okay, let me show. Okay, so this is the Arduino Uno shield where you have the SD card option. Now you have to understand, Arduino, we use AVR chipset, right? And these AVR chipset operates on 5-volt. So the signals are at 5-volt, but these guy understand an signal on 3.3. So in that case, you have to make sure you have to have a logic level shifter. So we'll understand in detail in the next video. I am going to pin these links in the description where you can basically go and see the schematic and just question in terms of why pins have been used like that, and just see where these are being connected. So all these hardwares are open source hardware which you can refer to and just go through and understand. If in case you have any question or a doubt, you can comment. And yeah, so this is all about this video. In the upcoming video, we'll be talking about logic level shifter and also an SPI flash. So you would have had a question, right? Let's say instead of using a SD card, can I use an external SPI flash? So external SPI flash is non-removable, like you cannot physically remove and plug it to your CPU and all, but it solves for a very different purpose. So those informations we'll be seeing in the next video. So friends, if you like this video, please share it to your friends, and thanks for watching. Thank you.